Hey friends, tax season is coming. I've got you covered with a 12-episode Saturday series running January through April. Each week, I'll share tips to help small business owners avoid tax season stress, get clarity, and lighten the load by delegating what you don't need to carry. Tune in every Saturday and step into tax season with confidence.
Let me start with a question. What if I told you that one of my clients missed on thousands of dollars in deductions, all because they didn't have a system to track their spending? This client spent all year making car repairs that added up to thousands of dollars, but not once did they categorize those expenses properly. Today, I want to help you avoid exactly that situation. In this episode, I'll show you where your business owners are losing money, the common deductions you're likely missing, and how the Clarity Compass method can help you shift from chaos to clarity without waiting until tax season panic sets in. Let's talk about the client story in detail. They owned a contracting business, and like many of you, they were busy keeping job moving, dealing with clients, and managing their team. They were excellent at what they did. Quality work, satisfied customers, steady stream of projects, but over the course of a year, they spent thousands repair and maintaining their vehicle. We're talking oil changes, new tires, brake work, and transmission repairs, and regular maintenance. Every time something needed fixing, they take the truck to the shop, swipe the card, and get back to work. But here's the problem, my friends. None of those expenses were properly tracked in their bookkeeping system. They were spending money, absolutely, but they weren't recording it as a business deduction. At tax time, when we sat down to look at their books, those repair receipts nowhere to be found in the system. That's thousands of dollars in legitimate business expenses that never made it into their tax returns. This is what I call the $2,000 here, $2,000 there syndrome. A couple of thousands on tools throughout the year and another few thousands on safety gear and equipment, a chunk on insurance and licensing, and none of it properly categorized or tracked. And before you know it, you've lost on 10 or maybe even 20,000 in legitimate deductions. That means paying significantly more in taxes than you should have. That's real money. Money that could have stayed in your business, in your pocket, or gone towards growth and expansion. So why does this keep happening to smart, successful business owners? The simple answer is there's no system in place. Most business owners think their bank statement or credit card statement is enough documentation. They figure, well, it's all there in my statements, so I'm covered, right? But that's not true at all. Those statements only tell you where money went. They show you that on March 15th, you spent $147 at the auto parts store, but that statement doesn't tell you whether that purchase qualifies as a business deduction. It doesn't tell you how it should be categorized in your books, and it doesn't distinguish between business and personal expenses if you occasionally use that card for both. A statement can't explain your intent or the business purpose behind each purpose. There's a huge difference between spending money and deducting money. Just because you paid for something doesn't mean you'll automatically see the tax benefit at the end of the year. Only properly tracked and categorized expenses qualify as deductions. If you don't document it correctly throughout the year, it is as if that business expense never happened. At least in the eyes of the IRS and your tax preparer. And when they're operating blindly like this, you're completely at the mercyness of your memory or your CPA trying to piece things together at the end of the year. But here's the thing, your CPA can only work with what you actually tracked for them. They cannot create deductions out of thin air. And they certainly cannot remember what you spent 6 months ago better than you can, right? Let me give you some concrete examples of how deductions small business owners consistently miss. Vehicle expenses are huge and they go way beyond just repairs. We're talking about mileage. Every business miles you drive can be deducted using the IRS standard mileage rate. That's fuel costs, general maintenance, insurance, registration, and even depreciation on the vehicle itself. But if you're not logging those miles consistently, you're leaving serious money on the table. Cell phone bills. Most small business owners use their personal phone for business calls and texts with new clients, suppliers, and team members. A portion of that monthly bill, it is absolutely deductible. The same goes for the internet. If you work from home or you have a home office to manage your job sites remotely, you can also deduct that as well. How about those quick runs to Home Depot or the local supply house? Every single one of those purchases, if they were for business purposes, should be tracked and categorized. Materials for the job, tools, supplies, safety equipment, it all counts. But here's the key. If you don't track them consistently throughout the year, they get lost in the shuffle. Insurance premiums, whether it's liability insurance, workers' comp, commercial vehicle insurance, or professional certifications and licenses that you need to maintain to do your business, all of these are deductible. Continuing education courses, industry trainings, professional membership, subscriptions to trade publications, these often forgotten expenses add up over the year. Safety equipment is another big category. Hard hats, safety glasses, work boots, highly visible vests, respirators. If you need it to safely do your job, it's generally deductible. But again, only if you track it. And this is exactly why I created weekly bookkeeping accountability sessions inside of the Clarity Compass membership. Every Monday night at 7 p.m., business owners just like you come together online. You open your books, and we spend 1 hour focusing on categorizing transactions together in real time. It's not complicated or overwhelming. It's consistent. And that consistency makes all the difference in the world. Real-time tracking means no more year-end panic. No more desperate searching for lost receipts when your tax appointment is next week. No more wondering 6 months later what that $83 charge was actually for. During these sessions, you actually get to ask questions in the moment like, is this deductible, or which category does this belong in? How do I handle this expense that seems like I could be both business and personal? You get clarity right away from someone who knows the rules and has helped hundreds of business owners navigate these exact situations. The power is truly in the routine. When bookkeeping becomes a weekly habit rather than an annual nightmare, everything changes. You're not dreading it anymore because it's never overwhelming mountain of work. It's just an hour a week, usually less once you get into the rhythm, and it protects thousands of dollars in deductions throughout the year. Plus, there's something very powerful about doing this with a community. You're not alone in the dark, staring at spreadsheets and feeling confused. You're with other business owners who have the same questions, face the same challenges, and celebrate the same wins when they finally get it. Now, let's talk about the return on investment here because this is important. Think about it in this way. If you're missing thousands in deductions every year, what's the real cost of not having a system in place? We're not talking about the membership fee or the hour of time. We're talking about the actual tax dollars you're unnecessarily sending to the IRS. Let's do some quick math. Say you missed $10,000 in legitimate business deductions over the course of a year, which honestly isn't hard to do when you're not tracking consistently. Depending on your tax bracket, that could easily pay between an extra $2,500 to $3,000 in taxes, money that could have stayed in your business. When you join in weekly sessions, you're not just staying organized, you're actively saving real money. Month after month, you're reducing stress because you now know your books are current and accurate. You're gaining peace of mind because you're confident that if the IRS ever comes knocking, you'll have all the documentation for everything. But it's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet or tax savings at the year end. It's about building genuine confidence in your financial decisions. When you know your numbers, really know them, you can make better business decisions. You can confidently bid on jobs knowing your true costs. And you can decide whether to invest in new equipment based on actual profitability data and not your gut feeling. You can plan for growth with actual numbers backing up your decisions. That confidence, that clarity, that peace of mind, these are the intangible benefits that members talk about most. Yes, they save money at tax time, that's for sure. But when they treasure more is finally feeling in control of their business finances instead of constantly being stressed about them. So let's circle back to what the clients who've missed thousands in car repairs. Once they implemented a system and joined the weekly bookkeeping sessions, everything changed for that client. They went from missing major deductions and feeling panicked every tax season to finally feeling confident and in control. Their books stayed up to date week by week, no more scrambling, no more guessing, and the best part, they actually started sleeping better at night because they knew their financial house was in order. The same transformation is absolutely available to you. Stop leaving money at the table. Join the Monday nights in the Clarity Compass membership and let's work together to track, categorize, and protect your profits week by week. Bookkeeping doesn't have to be stressful, overwhelming burden, and it can be the tool that gives you clarity, confidence, and genuine peace of mind in your business. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. If this episode resonated with you, or if you know anyone that could benefit from what we discussed today, make sure to share it with them. And until then, I'll see you on the next episode.
Hey, thanks for joining this Saturday's tax season special. Don't forget, you can join the Clarity Compass membership for weekly support or reach out for our white glove bookkeeping services. And remember, we're not lawyers or accountants, just your guide to clarity. Catch the next Saturday episode in this special tax season series. See you then.